let's call it as my calculation, or yeah, let's say my calc. Okay, yesterday, if you remember, I showed you how do you work with the primitive types. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get started now. Let's see how do we work with the functions. First of all, yesterday, if you remember, we talked about the modular programming as well. It is a best practice to divide our program into methods, right? So that we can reuse it. Remember that part? Calculating,
Yes,
adding two
yes, sir.
numbers and adding two numbers
Yes.
with parameters. Okay. So let us say I have a function. Yesterday, I've also written a function that takes a dollar value and returns me a rupee value, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will enhance that part once again. See, yesterday I had written it as public void converter, which takes dollar value and converts that into rupees. So I'd return this. Let's take float dollar and system.out.println dollar into 76, right? So here user is able to create an object of the class myCalc. Calc is equal to new myCalc and their calc dot converter. Whatever dollar value he passes, like $10 or let's say $10.5. So it should be 10.5 into 76, right?
Yes, sir.
And so since it is a float argument, we have to say 10.5 F. Why is that? Why should I write F here?
By default, it's double.
Yeah, by default, it is reading that value as double. So that's why I have to do that. Now let's run it as Java application. So this is the result of the rupee value for $10.5. Are we getting this?
Yes, sir.
Now let us think it from a broader aspect. That is, applications can be created of different types. That is, there can be console based application. Console based means this type of applications where only you can have the interaction using text. Possible, right? Application can be just CUI, character user interface. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Applications can also be this graphical where you have file, new, and the Java project. You see this window, right? Windows everywhere. For closing, you have this close option. But here, if you have to close something, you have to type a command, right? Yes or no? So
Yes, sir.
applications, whenever you are creating any application, the application can either be a character user interface or a graphical user interface. This particular function which I have written, no, this is restricted only to what? Console. Where do I get the result of this? Where will I get the result of this
On
dollar into? Only on the console, right? Imagine somebody is writing this function and I'm just using it. I'm just using it. When I'm using it, it is giving me the result. That is all fine. But where is it giving me the result?
on console.
On console. So this method is actually restricting me to just print that result, that too on the console. I cannot print it onto any pop-up or any other thing. But there can be a requirement where I would like to print this on a pop-up. So how do we do that? So for that, this function should not have this system.out.println. This function should have a return type like this float. What I will do is I'll keep this function under the comment and I will create a proper implementation of the same function. We should create void functions only when that is the final level of that function, when it does not return. In all other cases, we definitely create the functions that returns us the values, float. And here, instead of doing system.out.println and dollar into 76, I will do return dollar into 76. Fine. Now, what is the advantage of creating function like this, not like this? Let's see the advantage. So if I call this function at this point, I will not see any result. Do you see any result on the console? Do you see any result on the console?
No, sir.
No, no, sir.
Previous function was giving us the result, right?
Yes.
So previous is better or this is better?
Previous.
Previous only you will say. Okay. So the advantage of this function is that I can take float, result is equal to, fine. And I can print that result, system.out.println, I can see result. Fine. And now do you see the result? Do you see the result?
Yes.
You might still be saying that the previous one was better on one line, you were printing it, here you have to write 2 extra lines, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I will tell you the advantage of this function. Now now you see, I will change this thing like J option pane dot show message dialog, new J frame, and I will say result. Did I change my method? Did I change the method? Did I change anything in this method?
No.
No.
No,
Now
sir.
you see, where is the result displayed now? Where is the result displayed?
Oh, nice.
It is displayed on a pop-up message, not on a console, right?
Yeah.
So this user, see this particular user, this is done by some other developer and this is done by some other developer. Suppose think that you have created this function and somebody after 50 years, they want to use your function, but they should not be restricted to use in system.out.println, no?
Yes, sir.
They can do it with system.out.println, they can do it with the message box. It's their it's their call what they want to do with the result. If you write system.out.println in your function, means you are just allowing them to print it. But there can be cases where they don't want to print it, they want to pop it up on a message. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
They may
Yes, sir.
also want to do something like this, get the result, and whatever dollars are converted into rupees, I want let's say 10% commission out of this result. Fine. I want 10% commission of this result. How will I get it now? How do I take the 10% of the result? I want to take out the 10% of the result. That means I want 10% of this. 10% of 798 will be how much? 79.8, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do we calculate the percentage of any amount? Let's say float. How do we calculate it? Let's say I want to get
0.1.
result into
0.1.
this one.
Yes.
Okay. So what does it say? Type mismatch cannot convert from double. Why? The 0.1 will be considered as double.
Float.
So let's convert it into float. All right. Let us now print the result and the commission as well. Let's save it and run it once again. So this is the result and this is my commission, right?
Yes, sir.
Actual value, commission. Now I want to return back the amount to the user. That means if you come to me and you convert your dollar into rupees, you exchange your dollar into rupees, I charge 10%. And then I'll give you the remaining money. How much should I give you? 798.0 minus 79.8, right? That I have to give you or not?
Yes, sir.
For that, what we can do is we can say another variable amount to return will be equal to result minus commission, right? And then let's print that as well. Amount to return. Let's save it. Now you see, acha, we can also take how many dollars are given. Let's take it in a variable.
Floor dollars.
Dollar equal to 10.5 and pass that dollar here. Fine. So now we can print that as well.
Dollar.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Let's say amount to return in rupees, and dollar plus dollar symbol actually comes before that dollar, right? Now you see the result. They gave me $10. Fine. I converted that $10 into rupees, and the actual amount, total amount is 798, and 79 is my commission, and the amount which I have to return is 71.8 rupees, correct?
718, sir.
718.2.
Yes, sir.
So this way, what we have done is pretty simple thing, but see the advantage of returning the value. When the value is returned, can I calculate, manipulate that on that value, right? See what I did with the result? I calculated my commission, right? I calculate the amount to return. Can I do all that if this method prints rupee value? If it only prints the rupee value, can I do that? Yes, guys. If the function does not return me value, if a function prints the value, can I do all of this or not?
No, sir.
No. No.
Not. Why? Because the function is only meant to print it. Function is not meant to give it. Fine. So this will be an advantage of creating functions with return type. Which function is better, with a return type or without return type?
With return types.
With return type. With return type, we can do all this. If we wish to like print that amount to return and all that onto a pop-up, we can do that on pop-up as well, right? Or if we want to calculate it, we can calculate it